Welcome back, comrades, to yet another summary video in the Metal Gear Solid series. I'm continuing to cover the games in their chronological order, so this time I'm going to cover the Portable Ops and the Peace Walker games. The Portable Ops game was developed for the PSP originally, and having never owned the system, I have not played this game, but I'm still going to briefly go over the events that transpired in it. The year is 1970, and it has been 6 years since the events of Snake Eater mission that I covered in a previous video. Snake's former team, Fox Unit, has broken their allegiance with the CIA and gone rogue. Snake himself is first targeted and then successfully captured and tortured by them. The information Fox is after is the location of the other half of the Philosopher's Legacy. That's the massive amount of money that was accumulated by a secret organization called the Philosophers. Snake's cellmate is a former Green Beret called Roy Campbell, who was sent to investigate the base they're on as a part of a larger team that has been eliminated. Roy informs Snake that they're being kept at an abandoned Soviet missile silo in Colombia. Snake escapes from the base and establishes communications with the US. Here he learns that both Major Zero and himself are being accused of treason, and the only way to prove their innocence is to destroy the rebellious Fox Unit and the man responsible for the rebellion, called Gene. Snake makes his way through all the top command of the Fox Unit, eventually reaching Gene. What was Gene's master plan, you ask? Well, what else other than launching a nuke against the US? Gene actually targeted a particular group, the Philosophers, with that attack in order to replace them with his own organization called Army's Heaven. Snake puts an end to that and receives the plan and the money that Gene set aside for his new organization. After his return home, Snake is awarded for his actions and uses the plan's personnel and funds received from Gene to establish his own militarized organization, Soldiers Without Borders, Militaires Sans Frontières, or MSF for short. And that happens in the next part of the game, the Peace Walker. The Peace Walker was originally released for PSP as well, but later was remastered in HD and re-released for PS3. The events of the Peace Walker take place in 1974, and the location is Colombia again. Snake's new organization, MSF, is up and running, and his partner, Kaz, introduces him to two new potential clients, Paz Ortega and Professor Ramon Galvez. The mission statement for the MSF can be summed up to be an army without a nation. According to Snake, they're to provide military support to anyone that needs it. And that is exactly what Professor and Paz need. They claim to be authorized by the government of Costa Rica to acquire the services of the MSF to protect the country from an invading force believed to be CIA. Snake is reluctant to get mixed up with the CIA because that's his previous employer. However, Professor manages to persuade him by producing a tape recording of what appears to be a conversation between Boss and another woman. The professor, who Snake suspects to be a KGB from the get-go, claims that the recording was made very recently in the jungles of Costa Rica. Despite all his misgivings, Snake is so intrigued by this that he agrees to take the job. This being a Metal Gear series, we soon learn that it is indeed CIA that is conducting some kind of operation, and in fact it looks like they are bringing nuclear weapons into the region. This sets off all kinds of alarms in Snake's head, and he goes into full-on save-the-world mode. Hot on the trail of nuclear threat, Snake decides to contact a local rebels group called the Sandinistas in order to get more information about CIA activities. Snake manages to rescue the Sandinistas from a camp where they were being held by some CIA mercenaries. He meets Amanda, who is in charge of the group, and her brother Chico. As they start to discuss the CIA activity and ways to disrupt it, a flying AI robot called Chrysalis shows up and abducts Chico. Snake promises Amanda that he would find her brother and sets out to continue the mission of tracking down the nuclear weapons. He quickly finds and frees Chico and other rebels and proceeds to a base in Erazu, where he witnesses an argument between a CIA agent named Coldman and a scientist named Huey about the new type of a nuclear deterrent named Peace Walker. It is a fully autonomous weapon controlled by an AI capable of initiating a nuclear retaliation strike even when human commanders are unable or unwilling to do so. Coldman calls this the ultimate deterrent. In an effort to show the world that he is serious and capable, Coldman also wants to launch an actual nuclear missile. And that is where Huey disagrees with him, but to no avail.
Peace won't just come to us, Doc. We are going to have to meet it halfway. V for victory.
As Coldman leaves, taking the Peace Walker weapon with him, Snake helps Huey and learns that Coldman has been very, very busy. In addition to Peace Walker weapon, they have developed 3 other AI-controlled weapon systems: the Pupa, the Chrysalis, and the Cocoon. Huey also informs Snake that the ultimate AI, the Peace Walker, is almost complete, and only needs a few AI tests and adjustments that are being performed by an AI specialist, Dr. Strangelove. Snake then receives an access card and is sent to Doctor's lab to destroy the AI. Both Huey and Amanda join Snake's organization, the MSF, and are taken to the Mother Base, where they can provide useful information to the organization. Huey joins the R&D department and helps develop new weapons, as well as start work on MSF's own Metal Gear, or AI weapon, that they decide to call Zeke. As Snake progresses toward the ultimate goal, he encounters and defeats all 3 non-nuclear AIs. However, when he reaches Dr. Strangelove's lab, he learns that she used all available information about his former mentor, the boss, to create the AI, and now she claims that the AI is the boss herself. Turns out that the recording that persuaded Snake to take the mission in the first place was actually of this AI speaking with Dr. Strangelove. Needless to say, Snake is very confused and conflicted by this, and is unable to destroy the AI, which gives the Doctor an opportunity to whisk the Peace Walker away. Having gotten back his bearings, and still trying to sort out his feelings about this new AI boss, Snake continues the pursuit of the Peace Walker. Second time Snake catches up with the ominous machine, he is more prepared to deal with the AI, but he still falls into a trap and consequently gets tortured by the Dr. Strangelove.
Brace yourself.
Master of escape that he is, Snake easily escapes the prison and learns of Coldman's real plans: launch the Peace Walker nuclear weapon against the MSF mother base, thus eliminating Snake's operation and showing the world the real power of the new deterrent weapon. Now Snake has a very personal stake in the game, and is finally able to face the Peace Walker weapon for the first time in battle. He does pretty well, but then Coldman and Strangelove show up in a helicopter and lure the robot away to the border into Nicaragua.
Snake, it's getting away!
With the menace of MSF being destroyed, Snake redoubles his efforts to track down and destroy the Peace Walker. He learns that Coldman and his creation are located at an American military base in Nicaragua, which he successfully infiltrates. As Snake reaches the control tower, after fighting his way through waves of Russian soldiers, he confronts Coldman, who is set on executing his plan more than ever. He explains that the Peace Walker is a defensive-only weapon and cannot be used to attack random targets at will, but they had managed to engineer some false data that will make the Peace Walker think that there is a nuclear attack and retaliate. The false data would also make the MSF mother base the perfect retaliatory target. This little conversation gets interrupted when Professor Galvez shows up. Snake always suspected that he was KGB, and now he gets his confirmation. Galvez is actually Zadornov, who has worked with Coldman this whole time. This explains the presence of Russian troops on the base too. Now he decides that it is time to double-cross Coldman and hijack the Peace Walker for his own purposes. Zadornov wants to change the false data and make Cuba the retaliatory target, which would ensure that America gets blamed for starting a nuclear attack against the Soviet ally, and that in turn will ensure that KGB gets more credibility, influence, and control. Zadornov shoots and wounds Coleman, but before he implements the rest of his evil plan, Amanda and her compass burst through the doors and stop him in his tracks. After that, the rest of the MSF troops show up and take Zadornov and Coleman into custody.
And the professor?
We'll find him a nice, comfy cell. Coldman's lost a lot of blood. He may not make it.
Where's Amanda?
Back with her compass. She'll catch up later. How about you, Snake?
I'm not done yet.
The AI.
I have to finish this. That boss is a fake. I'm gonna bury it.
As they're being transported by helicopter, Coldman still persists that his vision of the New World Order with the Peace Walker as a deterrent is the only righteous way. And just before dying from the gunshot wound, he manages to send the false data to the Peace Walker, activating the retaliatory strike against Cuba. At the same time, the Peace Walker starts broadcasting the data about the false attack to the US military command at NORAD, showing them that Soviet nuclear missiles are inbound to the major US cities. Snake, being the stud that he is, goes one-on-one against the machine, and once again tries to prevent the nuclear apocalypse. After a grueling battle, he is able to disable the robot, but the fake data transmission is still going strong. NORAD, not being able to tell that the data is fake, prepares to strike back, and a call from Snake just delays their decision a little.
Go to DEFCON 2. Prepare to launch ICBM.
In the meantime, all the attempts by Snake to stop the transmission fail, and the situation looks almost hopeless. And then the downed Peace Walker suddenly wakes up, and with a beautiful song marches right into the ocean, thus killing all the electronics and killing the transmission of fake data.
Boss, is that you?
How in the...
A ghost in machine? She's drowning herself to stop the transmission.
Look!
It's functional compensation. When the human brain is damaged, sometimes it recovers over time. Other parts of the brain take over the functions of the damaged parts.
Dr. Strangelove and Huey explain this by saying that even as a machine, the essence of the boss was unable to hurt the humanity and her country, and chose to end her existence for the second time instead. As the Peace Walker disappears below the water, Snake finally accepts the death of his mentor and her sacrifice, as well as his new title, the Big Boss.
So, we can only keep on hoping. Hoping for the illusion we call peace.
This concludes the main story of the Peace Walker, but there is also a bonus 5th chapter to the game. In that chapter, Zadornov escapes the MSF multiple times and is brought right back by Snake every single time. Due to the sheer number of escapes, Snake suspects that Zadornov had some help from the inside. It is also revealed that Huey was able to complete the Metal Gear Zeke and outfit it with a nuclear weapon scavenged from the Peace Walker. The story comes to a point when Zadornov escapes for the 7th time. Snake, or Big Boss, finds him and is forced to kill him this time.
My work is done. What are you talking about? V for victory. Rocket, peace.
After that, he learns that Zeke had been activated and is targeting the US. Paz, the peace-loving angel, is at the controls and reveals herself to be a Pacifica Ocean, an agent of Cypher, with a mission of either making the Big Boss join them or framing MSF as a terrorist cell for launching the Zeke's nuke and have them destroyed. Snake makes short work of defeating Zeke and throwing Paz overboard in the process. After that, Snake's partner Kaz admits that he knew who Zadornov and Paz really were, and also says that the Cypher is none other than Major Zero himself. Here is the real twist. Major Zero was the one that financed and promoted the MSF expansion in the first place. He was planning to use it as a mercenary force while establishing the New World Order using the electronic surveillance and AIs to analyze the data. Snake realizes that the new times are coming and warns Kaz that it will not be easy going forward, since every agency from every country would be coming after them. But he also says that in spite of all the difficulties, they would continue to offer the services to anyone who needs them, and that there is no better place for people like them than the MSF. And he now calls the MSF the Outer Heaven. This concludes the events of the Metal Gear Solid, the Peace Walker. Next in the series chronologically is the Metal Gear Solid 5, the Ground Zeroes, and the Phantom Pain. I will be doing full walkthroughs of those two on my channel, as well as the summary video for both. As always, thank you very much for watching, Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to see more like this in the future.